Record. There we go. We got a few people on Zoom. I'm going to share everything and awesome. Okay. How is everyone? Some people still in town from Thanksgiving. This is great. Today we're going to talk about hiring and how we can have a good hire. But let's go through a few things up front, and then we are waiting on McCarthy Media. So they're going to come in. Maybe we'll just give them a quick moment at the end. They're our lunch sponsor today, so we'll see when they come in. We've got the fall productivity contest. That's still going on November 1st through the 31st. So we've just got a few more days, and we'll see. This is the lineup right now. First place is tied with Robin and Janalyn. Before it was Janalyn was just taking the lead, and Robin must have input some of her things there. So we've got Kale, Christine, Annie, Sarah, yep. So, and if you need a reminder, so the points earned are basically any lead generation activity that you do. Post yourself doing it, send it in, and then we can, then you get points that will add towards a family reunion ticket. Yep. So that'll be exciting. Hi, welcome. How are you? Is that the, I don't know if I'm going to stay and sit down, like non-committal, join us. Stick around. We'd like you. Okay. Family reunion. This is the same screenshot as last week. So if you signed up from then till now, your name won't show up on here. But there are quite a few people that are that did show up or that did register that they're not showing up here yet. We have somewhere around 45 to 50 people from our office that are already registered for family reunion. And this is the list so far with some additions in there as well. I know Daylise is one of those that's not on there, Brian Hurd. And there was a handful of others that we found out last week. So this will be exciting. This is coming up. So let's see, I was going to see if Amy was down here to talk about it, but I'll cover this. We have been, as a leadership team, we've been planning a few things that we thought would be really cool for the month of December. And so we're doing 25 days of kindness. So Christmas kindness, holiday kindness, however you want to call it. But each day, what we want to do is move that. Each day, what we're doing is just kind of like a prompt, something to do. For example, the day one, so December 1st is coming up. Write a note of gratitude to someone. It does not have to be big. This doesn't have to take longer than a minute, 5 minutes. But that 1 minute, if we have 10, 20, 30 people, 50 people, 100 people that do this, then that's just kind of a cool thing. And so we're excited about what that would be. A couple other examples: bring a toy to donate. I know some of this is probably small, so you can't see. Bring a toy to donate to Primary Children's Hospital. Spend the day opening doors for strangers. So you just go and, maybe, I don't know, maybe at Smith's or something, you go and you tag, you go up there and you get the door for someone. Hold it open for someone at the gym or the office. Little things like that, spreading the kindness. I think we're surprised what impact a small gesture can be for someone. And we don't know what other people are going through. So something is of me making it. Where is that? Day 21. I think I will be sick that day. I'll be in my own bed still. I know, stop it. Make everyone's bed. That is pretty cool. All right. Okay, you're gonna see me 6:30 in the morning. You better be out. Justin's gonna be like, what are you doing here? Yes. Yep. What? Are you kidding me? You are the worst. All right, next time I'm closing the door on you. You're not allowed to come in. Yeah. All right. Well, you won't know how to hire someone. Just kidding. Yeah, so this would be pretty cool. What happened? Oh, it's because I clicked on whenever you click on the Zoom stuff, it takes it off of the remote. All right, so Christmas party. This is on the 6th. And if you haven't registered, we need to know just for head count and all that. It'll be pretty fun. Bring your ugly sweater. And this is going to be, who does? Where? Smith's. Really ugly. Smith's. All right, this is going to be ugly sweater. We've also got let's see, where is that? White Elephant Exchange. So bring something that's $10 or less. And all of this is just meant to be fun. So we don't need to make it really crazy or serious. Don't need to think too hard about it. But come and we're just going to have a good time. It'll be great food, great music, great company. We've got this coming up on December 12th. Is that 2 weeks? That's 2 weeks. Paul Smith, he is the executive director of the Rental Housing Association of Utah. I met him at a convention and said, hey, we need to have you come and talk to us about, we have a lot of people that do investments or even want to get into it. So he's coming to speak to us in a couple weeks. And so put that on your calendar. And then today we're going over 10 steps to hiring an admin. Let's see. Warren, are you Warren? Excellent. Okay, let's come up here real quick. We appreciate you coming with food, come bearing gifts. We want to give you a quick minute to talk to us.
Hey, so my name is Warren. I brought you guys Chick-fil-A and some awesome coffee. So hopefully it's getting around lunchtime. Hopefully you guys are hungry. But anyway, so just a little bit of an intro about me. I actually work at the University of Utah Hospital, working nights to fuel my passion project, which is like real estate photography and videography. So I shoot during the day. I actually came off the night shift at 6 a.m. this morning. I've been around the clock for sure, but so it's really what keeps me going during the day. Like I love it. I did a background in biology, chemistry, and everything, but this is like my true passion. So that's why I kind of came here today, just to bring myself full time. I'm still working nights and it's tough. I'm still trying to get enough clients to hopefully, fingers crossed, go full time, maybe by January. So that would be amazing if I could recruit any help or if any friends need like some real estate photography and videography, stuff like that. But something that separates me from the real estate photography market here in Salt Lake is one is I'm a solo photographer and videographer. So I really, really try to take care of my clients, and like every single time without fail for every listing that I shoot, for the first 15 minutes, I always go through, I put toilet paper away, towels away, the little things that stand out in photos, like when scrolling through the MLS, it's like, oh, why is there like half a bottle of soap in the bathroom? Why is there like half a roll of toilet paper? So I really try to clean things up on my end. Like if it's kind of too big a job that needs like 8 hours of cleaning work, yeah, I can't remedy that. But if it's like little things, I really try to emphasize in like getting the best photos on the first try. So that's something I pride myself in doing. And second is I really enjoy, like, this is my passion. This isn't like just something I want to do. Oh yeah, this is my side hustle. Like this is what I really want to transition into doing full time all day, every single day. And so it matters a lot to me. So, and if it matters a lot to me, you guys are going to matter a lot to me too. And you guys are basically like an extension of my family. So, and that's how I treat all my clients. But thank you again so much for having me. And yeah, food is in the back for whenever you guys are ready. And I have like business cards and everything in the back. But also for everyone here, I would love to just do like MLS real estate photography photos, like all free. So like everyone here, I would love to shoot like your first listing with me for free. So yeah, so that's about me.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Usually have questions about pricing. Do you have any general pricing strategy or pricing model?
Totally didn't even think
That's
about
okay.
pricing.
There we go, back on.
Okay, so pricing, I usually go by 3 pricing bundles just to keep it simple. I don't do square footage pricing because I feel like other real estate photographers overcharge if they have like an X listing that's X amount of fee. It's like, where like every house is different, every house is unique. And so I do a base, a pro, and a plus package. So base is like more like condo slash townhouse style. It's 25 photos and a floor plan. The pro package is what is my most ordered most often. So like 40 photos, 2D schematic floor plan, drone photos, and a marketing kit, which has like custom social media templates for Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, etc. And it also has a custom website. You can kind of link to the MLS and they can jump to it, stuff like that. And so that is Pro Pack. Plus Pack is like all the bells and whistles. So it's like 60 seconds of video, it's virtual twilights, it's 40 photos, 2D schematic floor plan. It's like, and like 3D tour, everything you could ask for in like one bundle package. I just try to keep it simple, but I also have like a la carte options. If you just want like 25 photos, nothing else, 40 photos, nothing else. Or if there's like an existing listing and you need like drone photos for it, I have like a la carte options for sure. I try to bundle it to make it a little bit more budget friendly. So, but yeah, that's pricing. Do you guys have any questions? Yeah, so 195 for base, 345 for pro, and 725 for like absolutely everything. And I also have all of this on my site, in my order page, has all the details. Just have to put in like a sample address somewhere in Salt Lake-ish. I service all the way, I go so far as Logan, down to like past Provo area, out to Tooele, and then to Heber. So it's like a pretty big area that I service. And because I mean, I don't know, I don't want someone to be like, oh yeah, can you like come out and take photos? And it's like, I don't know, an hour and a half away. I don't want to say no because like I'm sure other people have said no. So yes, so I gotta hop on my computer and adjust a little bit. It's 175 for everybody. So that'll cover up to 40 photos. And if you have like add-ons you want to mix and match, it'll do 175 off of everything. So yeah. And do you guys have any questions for me, stuff like that, concerns?
Awesome.
Oh, turnaround time, I usually turn around the next morning. So within 24 hours guaranteed, but say I shoot maybe 4 p.m. in the afternoon, evening, you will have it in the morning for sure.
Excellent. Thank you, Warren.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for lunch. All right. Let's jump into, you guys are stuck with me for the rest of the day. You get me. All right. This is something I'm pretty passionate about. Hiring is the key. I believe like you don't want to hire too soon. You don't want to hire too late. But hiring and having that right person can launch your business forward. It can possibly save your own sanity. It can do a lot of different things for you and your business, whether it's personal side or the business side. So a lot of people, they've kind of dipped their toe into hiring and they're like, hey, this it didn't work out for me a few times, and so I'm not I'm not going to push forward and do it again. I have found that this process that'll go through, it's very rigorous. It's not a, hey, I've got my brother-in-law. I know him. I've known him for like 10 years and we get along pretty good. So yeah, he's going to come and work for me. That is absolutely not what you're going to see today. But how many times do we see that out in the workforce? That doesn't mean that the brother-in-law is not the right person. It just means that the easy route is not the best route to go. I was going to say it's not. Yeah, anyways, it's so first step, know thyself. This is something that we skip all the time. We don't spend enough time on knowing who am I, what do I want, what do I need, and who's going to be compatible with me, my business. So usually the first thing we do is we start looking at what are we looking for? Maybe I need some showings, or maybe I need TC help, or I need some event help. This particular presentation is going to be around specifically an admin. You can use a lot of the same steps for an agent, but usually the admin, nailing down a great admin up front is the first and foremost important thing for your business. So a few things you can do for yourself is you can do your KPA, know your strengths and weaknesses, your operating style. There's a huge glare on that side, so I'm going to favor this one. Ask other people what they think about your strengths and weaknesses. So if you're wondering, also whoever's here, I'll share all of these with you guys. So you don't need to worry too much about, if you want to make your own additional notes, then great, but I'll share it with you. Maybe shoot me a text or an email, please. That'll help me, and then I'll make sure that I get it out to you so I don't forget. A paper disc test. That's the link that I've got here for you. So this is an example. There's a lot of people that are familiar with the disc test. This is an example.
All Mark Hadfield work.
Of, I don't know where that came from. It sounded like Patria. Yeah, it sounded like Patria. The disc
Hey
test.
Mark, I have his phone number.
All right, Patria.
I have the appraiser's phone number, so I can just text him.
That right there is getting you muted, Patria. Time out. All right. Got quite a few. I didn't realize there were several people on there. Okay, so this is my email. If you want the slides, then shoot me an email. Okay. All right. This is a quick paper disc test. You can print this out. You can take it, but there's also a link that you can do it on. I usually have gone to the Tony Robbins site for that. But anyone on your team, they want to know that you have a vision. They want to know that you have a direction for not only yourself, but for them. So make sure that you're spending time on that, going through that for yourself and getting to know specifically what examples you are. So during all of this, I'm going to try to give, it's very raw. I'm trying to give you more examples than just explaining. So this is an example of a KPA, couple different styles. Can't remember who they are. I think one of them might be me. One was someone else, but knowing, like, for example, I always give the example of structure. This one's got to be me. My structure is really low. So what does that mean for an assistant? If I have an assistant that their structure is really low, then that means, and what that means in a KPA style is that they need to have checklists. If their structure is really high, they do really well with checklists. They do really well with, you are here from 9 to 5. Very detailed and outlined. This is exactly what I need from you. Me, I don't do that for myself. I can operate on I can go willy-nilly and go and figure stuff out. But do you want two of those people side by side and say, let's link arms and go and conquer the world? Not exactly. So if it doesn't necessarily mean like it's a bad thing if you have two people that are structured. You just need to know yourself and know who you are hiring. Another one that stands out for me is intensity and assertiveness. So for me personally, if someone is really intense and really assertive, that usually like shows itself as aggression. And that doesn't do, I don't deal well with that. Someone that's gonna be really aggressive and really intense in my face as my assistant, I'm not okay with that. It's just, I know myself, other people, maybe that's what you need to push you forward, but that is not going to, linking arms together and going and conquering the world in a business, that is, I know myself and what will not work for me. So that's just an example of, and those are a few things. There's a lot more details in there that you can figure out, but the idea is know what works for yourself and what doesn't. Any questions or thoughts on that? Okay. This is something that I did. All these examples are from my own real estate, so I'm sorry if that's, I don't know, hopefully it's just helpful. It's just what I've done. So mission, vision, culture, I've modeled all of this after KW. They have all their own stuff and examples. So if you are looking to do that, just model after the huge business that has been successful. Mission, principles, values, culture, vision. This is laying this out in front of someone when you're hiring them, sends the message, I know who I am and I know what direction I'm going. So automatically it's, whether it really is impressive or not, it's just to show them, hey, I've got my stuff together and I know, and we're going to be able to do some things together. Okay. Number 2, missing persons report and search for them. So who are you looking for? Compensation, time commitment, admin. Do they want to be an agent? What will they do? And then searching for them, a few things. So we're going to talk about those things. Let me see. Okay. So as far as an example, one of the things that I have learned for myself, this is one of my like deal breakers. If someone says, I want to be your admin, but I want to be an agent, I'll find out at some point through my questions, are they wanting to be an agent? That's a deal breaker for me. Just because I don't want to hire an admin for them to walk off 6 months or 12 months later to go and sell real estate. They might sell real estate and they might be on my team, but that's not what I'm looking for. Now I've got to go through all the headache to find that one critical hire and get another admin. So I put that on there just as that's kind of a learning experience for myself. That if that's helpful, some other people that might work for you to hire someone and be in that direction, but that's something that I realized this is a deal breaker for me, because I have found through a lot of the applications that a lot of them want to get into real estate and this is their paid ticket into it. It's scary to jump off the cliff and be 100% commission and be an agent. So this is the way for them to learn the business. We talked about that a lot, huh? I know. But it's a way to learn the business and eventually get in. So it's all very self-serving. It's not bad. You just need to be aware and know if that is something that you're okay with. What will they do? Okay, so this is an example. How easy is this to see? Not very easy. The concept is there. Okay, so I'll just hit some of the high points. And again, you guys will be able to, if you care to look in detail, you can. Again, this is modeled right after KW. This was a template that I pulled from them. And then I went and I changed things to what I wanted for myself. So about the team, blah, blah, blah. Who are we looking for? For the right person. This is an opportunity, not a job. That was KW's verbiage right there. This person relishes the opportunity to build, implement, and manage multiple systems, blah, blah, blah. So administrative assistant is this role. Primary objectives, what are they going to do? Regular work activities, key skills, time commitment, and compensation. For me personally, this was a while ago, and the hourly rate at that point was realistically between 12 and 15. So whatever it is today, But one thing that I felt, this is just for my business, I wanted bonuses to be the motivating factor, not the hourly rate. So hourly rate is there, and then bonuses are how you can earn more money. Because as I grow, we both grow together. That was just mentally, and again, you can compensate however you want and do it differently. Any questions on this? So as far as where to post, you can put it on Indeed, KSL, Facebook, your SOI. You'd be surprised how many people you can get from your own SOI as you put that out there, and how many people hire from their past clients. My first hire was not a bad hire. It just was a learning experience for me. And it worked out for maybe 3 to 6 months, somewhere around there. And one thing that I learned from my business at that point, and again, this is different for everyone, but that first hire was part-time. And that I realized didn't work for me because knowing myself, my value proposition to my clients was, I'm going to get back to you and I'm going to be there for you all the time. So when she goes home at 3 o'clock and a client asks questions, all of a sudden now I feel the compulsion to respond. And now I'm taking her job, half of her job on my plate. And if half of it is on my plate, the whole thing's on my plate. So that mentally, and it's a mental switch, you got to be able to get it completely off. And it does take 3 to 6 months for that to really happen. So learning experience there. And then I went back through and hired again and spent my time. So you hire slow and fire fast. If they're not the right person, you usually know it in your gut. Oh, no, full-time. So, I mean, reasonable hours. So 9 to 5 would be full-time expectation.
How do you handle that? Wait till the next day? Because I know sometimes that's frustrating for me when I'm trying to get a hold of another agent. And
Right.
basically just says, you get until tomorrow. And I'm like, no, but this needs to be dealt with right now.
Emergencies after 5. Other than that, I'll get back to you tomorrow. It's hard for most agents. Yeah, absolutely. At some point, you have to draw the line in the sand and say, I am going to do this, and make the goal, make the commitment. That was a struggle for me. And we've talked about that too. It's been, I remember talking about that and saying, how do I stop answering the phone, and how do I stop working after 5 or 6 at night when you're at the dinner table? That might not necessarily be an admin thing. That's a you thing with your client. So yeah, it is setting the right expectation with your client. Because they're not necessarily doing it because they want the answer right away. Some things are urgent, but it's usually us who believe that we need to get them the answer that day. But if you do have a good admin that will communicate with them, they will learn to reach out to the admin instead of you.
Hard to say that I have these hours when I definitely don't, because I'm definitely going to be showing in the evening to work all day. And so what am I saying? I will do this, but I won't do this.
Yeah. Kenya has the answer for this.
I am like in transition trying to figure out these boundaries. And I was at a conference. I don't know. I sat on a training one time on this. It was kind of a breakthrough for me. And in my buyer or seller consultation, I have an expectations slide, and we talk about important communication versus urgent communication. And I tell them almost everything we talk about is going to be important. And if it's important, you will 100% have a response from me within 24 hours. It's way faster than 24 hours. If it's urgent communication, then I'm going to call you immediately, and then you kind of explain the difference between the two types of communication and how you respond to each type, and tell them that mutually, when it's urgent, I'm going to communicate with you immediately, and I expect you to communicate back with me immediately. If we're negotiating, we have deadlines, I need that urgent communication. If it's important, because I don't want to tell them, oh, if it's not important, but if it's important, which is everything else, you'll hear from me within 24 hours. And I tell them my business hours are, I don't even know exactly, like 9 to 6. I give a little buffer for the evening hours when they get off work. And if we need to communicate after that, it's by appointment only. And like after 6, I'm off. You may not be able to get a hold of me because I may be with my kids. And so I just set that expectation, and that includes showings. Sure, I'm available evenings and weekends by appointment. It's not like Saturday morning and I'm out with my family and, oh, I have a showing request, I got to go. Like that's not acceptable. And that's what I have done for years, that I'm trying to set the expectation now. I'm 100% there for you on the weekends when we schedule in advance.
That makes me so proud of you. Seriously.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't have it down perfectly, but I'm figuring it out.
No, I mean that very genuinely, because that's very difficult for most agents. It's a challenge that when you get busy and you want, that's usually why you get busy, because you want to help them and you're there for them all the time. But that was my value proposition. I had to reframe it for myself, just like Kenya just explained. It's a process, but you have to decide at some point, am I going to draw the line in the sand? But it's mostly around the expectations with your clients. If you have the admin, you can run all that through your admin if you want. And if that expectation is set with your admin, where any showing request goes to your admin sets it up, tells you where and when to be, and they know. You just have to have a lot of communication on your schedule. So that's a possibility if you set it up that way. Yeah, go ahead and hang on to the mics somewhere that we can pass it around if we need to. Did that help? Okay. Other questions on any of that? Comments? Okay. Application. So the instructions for an application, this is on the job description and the job posting, so that they know this is intended so that it's somewhat of a test. And you're kind of weeding out people right there. So how to apply, you saw this at the very bottom in bold at the very end of the job position. How to apply. Please read. Hello, read this. Please send your resume with detailed cover letter sharing why you would be a perfect addition to our team, to the Demars Real Estate team at gmail.com. In order to be considered, both cover letter and resume must be included with email. Position available immediately. Additional information. Again, please follow the process steps to be considered for the position. You'll get so many resumes that are just a resume and maybe not a cover letter, and there's other things that you can ask for. You can ask for a video application. That's something that depending on the role, if I were doing something for social media or anything tech related, I would do some type of a test and put that out there and say, I need to see as a part of your application, record a video of yourself, send it in this format and send it to me. That is, I don't really care what the video is. That's not the point, but can they follow directions, and do they have the ability to, do they already know what to do, or can they go figure out how to get it done? Those things, like, people don't have to be 10 out of 10 before you hire them, but if they can figure it out and learn along the way, then for me, I can work with that. If they can be self-initiative and figure it out. So this is just, what do you want to see and what's important to you? For an admin, for me, I need someone that's detail-oriented, someone that's going to check all the boxes, someone who is probably good with people too. On the KPA structure list, I usually would be careful about someone who's in the disc, someone who's a really high I. Because they need to have some sociability. That's kind of that I category. But if they are really high I and you have them doing detail like checklist work, they're gonna be bored out of their mind, because they will need to go and talk to people to fill their bucket and to be happy during the day. Yeah, so those things are important to know what and you can test on that. Any questions, comments on this? Okay, initial response. This is thinning the herd. So what more do you want to know? What additional tests do you want to give them? Personality assessment, DISC. Here's an example of an email. This is an automated or a quick response. I would get an email in, and this would be a copy and paste out to them. And this says, Annie, thank you for sending your application. I'm honored by your interest in being a part of our real estate team. I've reviewed resume and cover letter and would like to continue on the process or the next steps of the interview process. Interview step 1, DISC profile. Again, thank you for sending your resume and cover letter. I appreciate the information you shared. Because we are looking for an exceptional candidate for this opportunity, we have some additional initial steps to complete. Each step is designed to ensure this opportunity will be a great fit for both you and the team. We are looking for a win-win scenario where all benefit. Please begin the first step. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks in advance for your time. So that could be wordy. Maybe you're looking for different things. You could shorten it, lengthen it, whatever. Disc 1, please go to this link, click on this, take the test. It doesn't work in Explorer, use it on Chrome or Firefox. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. I do say on there, while we understand the assessment, don't tell the full story. It helps us better understand. So that way, though, because some people, they're kind of annoyed by, you're going to hire based off of a personality assessment. That just helps me understand you. That doesn't disqualify them. References, if not already included in your resume, at the time of the DISC, send the DISC profile, include 3 references, blah, 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 confirm and submit. Please confirm that you read the job description in its entirety. Thank you for your participation. I look forward to receiving your DISC results and references. So their response to this, let's see, I did give a date on there. So by Friday, July 14th, the sooner the better. That in itself is a test. These are all little like small tests. How they respond, in this, the best response I could get is maybe something that happened within 30 minutes. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but that would surprise me. Okay, they did it right away. It's back to me in 30 minutes. They have bullet point of, I read at the very end, I asked, please confirm that you read the job description. Hey, Tyler, I read the job description. Here's my 3 references and here's my DISC results. I look forward to hearing from you. I would love that email. That would stand out as a person and be like, okay, I'm jumping on this person right away. Because whether they know the test there, they just followed the instructions, and I need that in an admin. Make sense? Any questions, comments on that? Here's some examples of DISC styles. If you're not familiar with the DISC. So basically D is a driver, I is your sociable person, S is stable, secure type personality, and C is someone who's very detail calculated, that type of a person. Again, some of this is what works best for your style. For me, I didn't need someone who is a really high D. For someone who's going to run my whole team, I might need a higher D, but I don't need a D for years. So that is not really that important. The I, if they're really high I, that could be concerning, but just something to look at. And then the S, stable, that's kind of a pretty significant standard for, I'm an admin, I need a secure, stable job. And so it doesn't surprise me that the S's are really high. And then the C is, can they be detail oriented type situation? Can they follow a checklist? Let's see, what is this? This is covered. Basic knowledge of real estate. Some people that sent in their application, they didn't come from the real estate world. So I wanted to know, hey, describe the purchase process for a buyer. If I'm going to hire a transaction coordinator, this doesn't make or break the deal. I just want to know, are they 100% proficient, or do they have a lot of work in order to take over what I want them to take over and take responsibility? Is earnest money extra above the purchase price? What happens if the appraisal is below the purchase price? Yeah, so it just helps you know what you're dealing with. Questions on that? Phone interview. So this is, hi Shelly. Oh, I'm sorry.
Wait, no, not a real one.
Not a real one. Woo. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're good. I'm glad you're here. Phone interview. This is where you can ask the questions. Because the process is very detailed for me. The phone interview is just a quick review of their resume, anything that stands out, and any deal breakers to whether they're going to go into the very long process. We're not even halfway through the interview process yet. So the phone interview is, what I did is I put them all in, I would have this in front of me while I'm on the phone, and I would fill out their info. This interview is with Joe Schmo on this day. Here's the phone number, contact info, date, receive the application. So this is all just for my own info. Resume review, and then what questions? So after the resume questions, and yours can be a lot more simplified, but these questions are what matter to me. What are you looking for in your next position? Just bringing out a couple examples, the shorter ones. What would you say motivates you? Yeah. Yep. Unless I'm just like, all right, this person's a dud. Then I'm like, all right, I don't need to waste anyone's more time. And some of them, it's just, yeah, if I want to find the right person, I want to know all this stuff. Detail oriented.
On.
You can see,
Thank you.
is that Patria again? You unmuted yourself, Patria. Oh, she did mute. You know, I'm just teasing you if you hear me.
I'm so sorry.
We love you. Proactive. Proactive is very important to me. Can you give me an example of what being proactive means to you? Blah, blah, blah. How would you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5? Are you proactive? Yeah, I think I am a 5. I think I'm a 1. It doesn't matter, but it helps me know how they see themselves. Because if they're a 1, I am probably not going to get them to a 5 because they think they're a 1. If they're a 3 or a 4, then I can probably help get them to a 4 or a 5. Detail-oriented, self-managed, integrity. These are the things that held accountable. They matter to me, so I am going to ask them on this. How do you handle gossip or conflict on a team? Have you participated, or do you self-educate? Are you reading any books? Any of that stuff? Some of these, like if I don't have it in front of me, you ask me if I ask all of these. Yeah, I'll ask these, I'll fill them out, and then they go onto a spreadsheet. So I have every single person on a spreadsheet. That's how Google Forms works. But if I don't, then I might ask just general questions that I feel like matter to me. I want to know if they are successful. So one of my favorite questions is, hey, can you give me examples of where you've been successful in your past? I don't care whether it's job related or personal related. For example, if someone says, hey, I got my Eagle Scout. Okay, great. That sets you apart from a lot of different people. Like that has nothing to do with work. What's that? Maybe. But if you got your Eagle Scout at the age of 12, that sets you apart, right? Of course I did. Yep. 14, slacker. My mom did nothing. I did 2 Eagle projects too. My first one I know. The guy called me later and he's like, hey, your first one didn't count. My dad was about to chew his head off and I was like, oh, I'll just go do another one. So I did another one over. That's a whole story. That's a whole story. Politics. Yep. That you, yeah. Yep.
It's important to follow up for those.
I agree. And you can kind of tell, like maybe it's all of these are worth probing more. But if you say what, the odds are if I were to ask your son, what accomplishments are you most proud of? He probably wouldn't say his Eagle Scout award. He might and he might not, but that probably wouldn't be something that he is really proud of, because you can tell whether you really did it yourself or not. Okay, questions, comments on the phone interview? All right, after the phone interview, that's when they finally get to start the interview process. This is when they take the KPA, because the KPA is very intense. Yeah.
But like have access to give to somebody else.
Yeah, so it costs money. The office pays for it, and you all have unlimited access. You just have to do it through the office. Otherwise, you got to pay yourself. Yeah, yeah, we pay like $500 a month for it. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, send it to your spouse. Like this is something I sent to my wife, and it's pretty cool. Are you laughing about that? Yeah. Like I don't know. But yeah, if you can send it to your kids, if you feel like that's valuable. But yeah, what we would need, you can send it to me or Amy or anyone on the staff. We'll make sure it gets done. But we just need full name and email address. That's it. So that we would know the name of who to send it to and an email. Okay. All right. Send the KPA. I'm trying to see how many. All right. KPA. Here is an example of what, if you haven't seen a KPA, here's what one looks like. It gives you a summary of their attributes based on these areas and the job that you're hiring. This one was, this is one that I printed off for lead buyer specialist. It'll give you a bunch of pros, cons, what they're good at, how that helps. But basically what this does is it will take you to the job fit consulting guide. So this is the interview process. This is the interview process that is pretty intense. So you set up, you say, all right, could you take this? Once you get it, then you ask them to come in, and each of these steps, so step 1 through 4 is about an hour each. They take about an hour each. So I usually would do step 1 and 2 in one interview and let them know, hey, we've got about 2 hours that you're going to be hanging out with me. It takes an hour for each of the first 4 steps. So the first half of this is 4 hours. So you can see why I want to weed out as many people before I even get them to the KPA, because it takes so much time. You're still selling real estate. You're still doing a bunch of all your other stuff. And then you're like, I've got to go do another interview today. It gets a little bit monotonous, but you have to, that's why it's so tempting to just, all right, gut feel, this person's great. Yes, let's hire them. But this, I have learned that this is very valuable and worth the time. So the in-person interviews, job fit verification, thought process, do an hour for the job fit, say, all right, let's take a quick break. You doing good? All right, answer your phone, respond to text, let's get back into it. And the next one takes about an hour. Then if you like them, great, they get invited back. If you don't, thanks, we're going to keep moving on with other people, because you value your own time. Each of these, it's hard to find an hour in a day to do this. Then the next one is life story motivational interview. And those will take another hour each. So you're into it 4 hours just to try to gather information beyond anything that you have on the KPA. This isn't going to ask anything on their KPA or anything on their resume, cover letter. It is specific to questions. Let's see if let me go and show, let me get back to that screen here. Sometimes these get in the way. All right, here is an example. So this KPA, if you're hiring, it will, in case this looks very intense and overwhelming, it will walk you through step by step and tell you exactly what to say. Step 2, conduct the interview. Welcome Tyler to the interview, make him feel comfortable. Tyler, thank you for coming in today. The reason I wanted, like, you can read it straight off of the paper. The reason I wanted to meet with you is to get to know you better, understand some things that are important to you, blah, 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 right? And then it will tell you, like, these are the instructions in this section. Read each statement about the trait to Tyler. Ask him how the statement sounds to him. So it gives you the instructions. So if it's overwhelming, don't worry. It tells you exactly what to do. You just have to take the time to actually read it. So you would ask Tyler, on a scale of 1 to 10, how accurate would you say each sentence is? Tyler can synthesize ideas from a broad knowledge of concepts. Yeah, I agree with that. 10. I don't know. A lot of you guys have done this with me, right? Is that how we sound? No, it's much better than that. He learns new ideas regularly, quickly, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it takes 1 out of 10. And then it says, if it's a 6 to a 9, what can you change in the statement to make it a 10? So that way you can tell. And then tell me if you're not that way, if you're below a 5. So it will tell you exactly what to do. And this is why it takes an hour. This is job considerations. These are things that might not work very well in the position that you're looking for. And then this is the thought process interview. A bunch of other questions. You know, what are your weaknesses? Some of these are going to be a little bit of a repeat, and that's fine if you asked them before. How are you trained well? How are you trained poorly? How are you managed well? How do you set goals? How long are you willing to fail before you succeed at a task? Okay, so there's a bunch of questions, and then you get, and that's 2 hours. Then they get invited back, right? Yep. Higher, slow, higher, slow. This, so just to give kind of an example on my last round. Last round took me about 3 months to hire, and I don't remember how many applications. Probably at least 30 to 50, somewhere in there. A lot of them got weeded out, and I probably only took 5 that got to the KPA. And then beyond that, maybe only 2 or 3 that got beyond the first meeting. So yeah, it can, my goal is to get to 2 to 3 people through the whole KPA process. That means that I've got 2 to 3 people that are stellar, exceptional, and now you really have a 10 out of a 10 person, but it does take time, and it's a lot. So life story interview, this goes through education, past events, motivational interview, this goes through job, money, and then 2 other priorities that matter to them. And I have an example of one of them that someone did. So this is the motivational interview on the left, and the timeline or event interview on the right. For one of the applicants that I crossed out their name. So it gives you an idea. The thing that I like about some of these, it gives you an idea on what they are expecting for money too. So the compensation question is really easy at that point too. If they have been making $500,000 every year for the past 5 years, they probably won't be happy making 60 grand, right? Or vice versa. Maybe they've only been making 30 grand a year and you're offering 6 grand. That's gonna be pretty awesome, usually. Yep. It depends. Right now it seems like the dollar per hour is right around that 20. Just because you can go to, 20 to 25. You can go to McDonald's, you can do DoorDash. Back when, on my example earlier, it was showing a lot lower because it was a lot lower at the time. But But yeah, I think in order to find someone that's not a high school student, you got to be somewhere above that $16 an hour.
But
Yeah.
what would that be for? Like, how do they, I mean, you're obviously gonna lay that out.
Yeah. So I'll give you an example how I did mine is, again, I wanted to grow with them and they grow as well. So the bonuses were based off of transactions. And she couldn't bonus for the first year because she didn't have her license. And I wanted to make sure, is this person really going to be amazing? So she didn't get her license until the second year. And I had her go through the school. I paid for it all. And I knew that I already had a year under my belt. What? Which we can do for free now. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's online.
And
It's
is it video or is it reading?
video. Yeah. Yeah. It's very similar to the other ones. What was I answering though? Basically the bonuses. So per transaction, and you can only get paid per transaction if you have a license. So before that, I think I did bonuses off of reviews. Hey, if you help me get 5-star review, or if you get a 5-star review based on your communication with them, then you will get a bonus. Or yeah, yep. That way, if we're doing more transactions, then they're making more money. Yeah, and then you can bonus what things matter to you, then you can bonus on that. If it's not per transaction, then you don't need a license for it. That's why reviews might be a good example. Uh-huh.
That's why you require them to work together. Then you encourage them to get their license so that they can go here, just so they can go homes and write up the debt.
Yeah.
And all the stuff you want them to do.
Yeah, I wanted to invest more into them so that they can do more for me. And that's why the license. Yeah, but if you have a year under your belt, you know whether that's their vision or not. For the most part. I mean, people can surprise you, but if you've been working together for 6 months to a year, then I think you have a pretty good idea. And part of the process is checking in as well and being very open and transparent with each other.
So you're telling them initially, and I want you, like, you kind of lay out how the future is gonna look. Like, in a year, I want you to do this so that you can get your license.
Yeah. Yep. You're jumping in the last step, really. But yeah. No, that's exactly, it's needed. So there's the clear expectation on that. Okay, references is pretty simple. Have them fill out 3 references. And the big thing on this is you ask them, this is, when they give you references, they're giving you the people that they know are going to give them a glowing review. But if you look at the bottom, by signing below, I give Keller Williams Realty the permission, or you can change it to you. Permission to contact all of the references that I listed and any other people that the references suggest to you. So those 3 references turn into 9 references if you're doing it right. Here's the reference questionnaire. You go through and you fill it out. Hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. It'll tell you exactly. How is it that you know Tyler? Can you please describe your relationship with him or her? How do you feel Tyler's strengths are? What is he really good at? What are their weaknesses? This will go through. This is possibly my favorite. This is my favorite part of it. This will either validate or invalidate everything that you've learned about them for the last 10 hours that you've been spending together. And then at the very end, who else do you know who has experience with Tyler and can give us a different perspective? Do you happen to have their phone number? Do you have 2 or 3 people that you know? You ask them, and then you do that again with the third person. Those 3 references turn into 6 to 9 references really easily. And then you get past that veil of the people that are, these are the ones that are primed up. We've practiced. This is how you're going to respond when they call you and ask you about me. And then you get past them and find out if the other people will validate it as well. This is, I will not skip the references portion. That's really important. Offer letter, expectation conversation. This is an example again. This is right off of the KW platform, or their just basically just change it into all of my own stuff and change it how I wanted it. This is an offer letter at the time, and it just outlines everything. It's all clear. And then the expectation conversation, I didn't have the example on here. So let me show you what this looks like at the very end. Again, at the end of the KPA, you have an example of the offer letter. Here's the expectation conversation. These are things that you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how candid would you like me to be? How honest? You have your own answers in there as well. So that way you guys know, usually there's going to be a breakdown if your expectations are off, if they're not in line with each other. So if there's more things that you need to clear up front, then do that as well up here. The expectation conversation can basically be over, let's see, description. Part of this, somewhere on here it says, see job description attached. Go over the job description and go line by line. Does this make sense to you? I want you to run a transaction for me, or I want you to communicate. I want you to contact these people. Is all that clear? Do you have any questions? So the clear expectations will make a huge difference. And after that, you're going through your 30, 60, 90. This is represented by 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And the biggest thing that a lot of people are worried about is the cost for your admin. And the cost is really, it's up to how well they are doing. So you look at someone that maybe you have to budget 60, let's say you're going to pay them 60 grand over a year, 70,000. You're really only paying them for 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, because if you're going to go through and have these clear checklists, and you'll know usually within 30 days, within that first 1 to 3 months, if they are a solid hire or not. So you're not paying 60 grand, you're paying that divided by just a monthly, because if they're not the right person, then you know. And that's one of the things that usually helps. It helped me decide when I was going to hire, because I was worried about my own expenses. And it's like, well, honestly, if they're not the right person and they're not helping my business grow, then I'm going to dump that expense. I'm going to fire that person early. Yeah. Yep. And it was the best thing I did, because then I found the right person. Yeah, it was probably the best thing for that person too. This is an example of 30, 60, 90. So 30 days, here's what we want to accomplish in 30 days. These notes this is a review after, I don't know, 30 days or 60 days or whatever. So these are some of the notes that we took together that I had saved. Here's everything we want to get done in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and you get the point. Down the road, this is something that I wanted reflections as well. This is just kind of a check-in. I believe in being very straightforward. At least that's just my relationship with my admin. Like, to the point she like comes and watches my kids type person. Like, should I trust her with? I even asked her at one point. I was worried. Like, if I make $1 million, are you gonna resent me? I asked her that. Yeah. I want to be direct, because I don't want, she's going to hide because she's running my books. She can see everything that goes on behind the scenes. And if she sees that I'm making a lot of money and she's making whatever she's making, then is she going to resent me? So that's one of those clear questions, those things up front that I'm like, hey, let's just get this out of the way right now. That way, I told her, we are never giving you a dollar raise up at the beginning. Yeah, I said, you will not, you're going to be at this dollar per hour forever. Yeah. How you're going to make more money is off of bonuses. Yeah. And I've sensed like she's been around a long time. And again, of course, I lucked out, of course, with her. And you'll feel the same way when you have that right person. Just be like, hey, this is just, you're a godsend, and I lucked out. Even though I did, 15 hours worth of interview and everything, still I lucked out, right? Because there's only so much you can control up front. Thoughts, questions, comments? Went a few minutes over. Yeah.
And I think that one, it was completely different from anything else that I was currently interviewing for, because I was actively interviewing for other positions as well. And I hung on for KW. So I think that if that person gets to the end, you also know that they're committed to the position. Because I had been offered another position and was hoping that this one would come through so that I didn't have to choose that one. So I think that equally, the longevity of everything, you know that you've chosen the right person, not just because of what you're learning, but because they stayed for those 2 months or whatever. So yeah. And
Yeah.
I loved the KPA, by the way.
Well, you might be rare. Most people get annoyed.
That's why I loved it, was because exactly. I think that just knowing, like, it was conversations I had never had before. I'd never had anybody ask me, how much do you want to make a month? What's your plan to do that? Like, it was such a thrilling conversation versus, the other position I was interviewing for a department manager for Smith's was like, how many people have you coached? What do you do in that coaching? What does that look like? So things that you can rehearse. The KPA, you can't rehearse. It's very real and genuine. You can't fake it.
How many hours do you feel like we interviewed together?
I think it was a 2-month process, from start to finish. And I think that there was like 5 or 6 times.
Did it really take 2 months?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and every time I would come home, my husband would be like, "You have another interview? There's another one?" Why? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. If this is, and mostly that's because of my schedule too, so that's why I say sorry, why it took so long. But if you're going through the process, the KPA, that realistically is like a 2-week process. Make a camp. Yeah. Yep. And yeah, you're busy. I mean, you have sometimes 2 months. If they're waiting for 2 months, then and Steph was amazing. So definitely great hire. If they wait, if they make it to the end, that says something. So even if it takes 2 weeks or takes 2 months, did you have a comment, or you were just saying, hey? This is for our Zoomers.
Yeah, I was just saying, I just agree completely. I went through the process. It took like 90 days. And it was annoying. I'll be honest. It was kind of annoying, but at the end, I felt like I knew who I was in business with, right? Like if they're going to this much trouble, like they're for real. So it was a good process, and it was nothing like anything I've ever done. So
awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Okay, we'll wrap up. If you guys have questions beyond all this, thanks for staying a few minutes extra. I know it's fine if you had to leave or others did. If you have questions, happy to go through this with anyone more in detail. And let's go have some lunch. Thank you to Warren. Where did the fire come from? Was that on the whole time? That's crazy.
I have to schedule for the beginning of January.